Didn't say anything about any of these white boys. And none of these white boys.
Hey y'all, so let's get into it. Ooh, this is good. 2024. We are 3 weeks into 2024 and we're still talking about Cat Williams. How about that? I think that's when you did something right. So what do you all think? So if you haven't heard, Dave Chappelle responds. I adore Dave Chappelle. Listen, I love both of them. I wouldn't choose. It's like it's like if you had two kids and you got to choose your favorite, I'm not going to choose, right? Because they both are exceptional at what they do in their various ways of doing it. But I wanted to bring up, Dave Chappelle's point and tell me what you think. So he's essentially said, listen, Cat Williams told the truth. He never said that he lied. He never said that he lied. Cat Williams told the truth. However, he didn't tell the whole truth in that he only told the truth on his black colleagues, right? It's like, okay, you talked about your black colleagues and what they did wrong, but you didn't talk about the managers and you didn't talk about the CEO. That's essentially the way I see, what Dave Chappelle is saying. It's like, look, if you're going to call people out, like, go to the top. Talk about the power structure, right? Talk about how Hollywood operates. Talk about what's going on, why they're doing the things that they're doing instead of just calling them out for their behavior. Now, I don't know if the other comedians that he called out said, and Steve Harvey and, all other people, I don't know if it was they did this because of Hollywood, if they did it because they're selfish, if they did it just because they're not great comedians on their own and they had to steal people's material, like, I don't know, right? But I think it's an interesting point, right? Like, if you are going to go ahead and tell the truth and call people out, why not call them all out? Or why is everybody that you're calling out looks like us? Now, at the same token, Dave Chappelle says that he is a hurt person that has not hurt other people. There's that phrase that hurt people hurt people. I always say hurt people who haven't healed hurt people, because everybody has hurt, right? And it's a choice if you're going to then go on and hurt others. You don't have to hurt people just because you're hurt. If you are a healed person, you don't necessarily now need to go on and hurt other people. And so to Dave's other point, right, is he's talking about himself, that he's been hurt, right? People have done things to him, and you become an adult, you come a certain age, you're going to be hurt. People are going to do things to you. I've had people do things to me. And so, it's almost like, okay, so does it mean that in order to be a healed individual, right, and not a hurt individual, that I just never say anything, that I'm just a martyr, right, that people can do things to me and I don't say anything because I'm healed? Like, is that a sign of being a healed individual? Or could it possibly be I'm saying something because I want to help other people, because I know if I don't say something, this is going to continue to happen, and the powers that be, or whoever it is that I'm talking about, they may do this to other people. So let me go ahead and warn you all and tell you all, not from a place of pain, but from a place of, I want to help other people not to have to experience the same things that I've been through. It's like, where is this? Why is it being a good person, a healed person, a martyr, if I can tolerate all the bad things happening to me and not saying anything? And, as a life coach, right, as a social worker, as a counselor, I can say that there really is space for both. This is not like this is not a black or white issue, right? It's like nobody is really right and nobody is wrong. It really depends on the circumstances, because sometimes you're not healed, right? And, when I have clients who have trauma and they're like, oh, I want to write a book, or I want to tell my story. Nah, boo, you ain't in that place of telling your story just yet. Let's continue to work through this before we get to the point of telling your story, right? Because the story that you tell is not necessarily going to be effective or the way that you really wanted to help, because you are still going through it. And it can also re-traumatize you, right? So, I get that, right? Like, there are times where you're not ready to tell your story, or you're not ready to tell the truth. Not because it's not the truth, but because, maybe it is for revenge, right? Maybe it is from a place of anger and you feel like if you do this, it's going to heal you when it probably won't, right? So there could be a number of reasons why this might not be it. But on the same token, does it really mean that just because I don't, that I'm a healed person and I'm doing the right thing by not telling the truth, showing that I'm the bigger person? And I think if anything, what we're starting to see is people are fed up, right? Like there's that old school notion of all of these things can happen in the background, but I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say anything. People are fed up. These millennials and zillennials and everything, they're like, F that, I'm telling it all. And I get the outrage about that. I do, because sometimes it really doesn't help. It makes things worse, right? And sometimes it does help. Sometimes it's a needed conversation. And right now, whether you agree or not of what Cat Williams did, what he said, he has opened Pandora's box. There are so many healthy conversations, right, that are coming from this. There is so much coming out. And I get what Dave said. He's like, look at here. Look. All things that happened to me, worse things than this, and I ain't tell nobody. Why did you feel the need to tell on these dudes? Why did you feel the need to mess with their money, right? And if you gonna do that, why not talk about some of the white boys in the industry who actually control the industry, right? Affect their money, tell on them, don't just attack us, so to speak, right? Who's right? Who's wrong? What do you think? There's so many variables to this, right? And I feel like there's so much that we don't know, but I really feel like both their points are valid. Sometimes it's better just to lay low, be quiet, work on you. And sometimes I'm going to shout it from the mountaintop because it needs to be told. So I would love to hear from you. Is that hurt behavior? Is that healed behavior? When is it hurt behavior? When is it healed behavior? Do you know the difference, right? Do we know the difference? Are there people out here under the banner of telling the truth who are really just hurt and just out there to hurt other people? And are there people who are really under the banner of, I need to tell this so that other people aren't victimized? Right? It's such an interesting thing. And I love that we're having this conversation. I feel like these are conversations that need to be had. These are things that we don't really talk about that a lot of times get swept under the rug, right? Because they're uncomfortable. I look at the Black family. How many of y'all know we got all these secrets? Nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's saying anything. You hear things, hush, hush, hush. So-and-so was molested. So-and-so was beating on somebody else. All of these, so-and-so was on drugs. All these things happening and nobody says anything. And then you got all this generational trauma, all of this hurt because all of these secrets just swept under the rug and nobody's talking about it, right? Well, that's family business, right? We don't air out dirty laundry, all of that, right? I have clients who have experienced this, that they've been sworn to secrecy about things that are literally killing them inside in so many different ways. They're not functioning as fully whole beings because they're holding on to all of this stuff that they literally need to release and let go. And so how do you do that in a healthy, healed way that doesn't attack or hurt other people? I think this is such a phenomenal conversation. So I want to hear from you. What do you think? What is the best way to deal with trauma? What is the best way to deal with hurt? How your experiences, right? How have you dealt with things? So comment below, let us know. Let's have a conversation about this. It is valid, it's necessary, it is past time. And you're looking for a life coach, holla at your girl. Let's talk, because ultimately, what it comes down to is a lot of us are holding on to things that are hurting us and not healing us. And we need to release it in a healthy way and let it go so we can move forward and live our best lives. Talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.